high at 60,000 feet, on the very cusp of outer space. He is strapped in and ready to dive bomb the pernicious peddlers of the pornographic politic. So run for cover. It's the Fred Dryer Radio Show. Incoming! And now, here is your host, Fred Dryer.
Oh, thanks so very much. The man is correct. Let me get my microphone adjusted here. Let me take the gum out of my mouth. It's been a tough, hard day on the freeway, folks. Getting here was a big crash over on the 5. Getting over here right after Scott Avenue. It was a doozy. And so anyway, I made it. I'm here, and I want to wish everybody a happy midweek. We're at the hump day here, halfway through this week, and we look forward to having you with us for the next hour. Now, I wouldn't be worth my weight in salt, 220 pounds worth, if it wasn't, if I didn't have my good friend and co-pilot Michael Horn.
Aye, Captain here, ready to go.
Arr,
I am ready to go.
Good. Nice to have you with you. Nice to have me with you, and you with you.
Nice to have you with me.
And nice to have you with you.
And yeah.
There's a lot going on today in the news, as there is all over the place. And, I've got one of the things I do on the weekends is I watch all the news shows like most people do. And I had a chance to peek in at one of the shows here, Political Insider. It was on Sunday, and they were talking with Pat Caddell and Doug Schoen and John LeBoutier.
John LeBoutier. He's always on with Barry Farber has John LeBoutier on all the time.
Yeah, that's right. And he's
former congressman from New York.
Yeah, he's not in office now.
Sort of a political pundit.
Yeah,
he has definitely lots
yet
of
another one. Yet another supposedly a conservative pundit.
Yes.
Anyway, but I guess their heart's in the right spot. And after all, isn't that what's important?
If your heart's in the right spot, that's the key to it all.
It doesn't make any difference what you do, what you stand for, what you say, what you're accountable for. If you meant well,
then it's okay.
That's the only thing that matters.
By the way, I meant to put fuel in the plane while we went up, and I'm sorry, I did. I meant to do.
Well,
it.
we can.
Sorry,
we coast. We can coast here.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
We're at. By the way, altimeter shows that we're at 71,089.
Oh, we've been there before.
Yeah, that's a nice number. I like that. And so we're there, humming right along, and we have a real good bird's eye view of what's going on down there, folks. So don't try to pull anything funny on us.
Okay.
We'll dive bomb you.
We will.
But I'm watching the show, and again, it has always been my belief that the real root problem in this culture, in this political culture, rests not with the progressive liberals or the individuals such as Barack Obama or Hillary Clinton or any of these people that are in office now. The real problem is on the so-called right, and in this case, left of center right, and that is the Republican Party. And I'm always on the lookout for what the heck's going on in the Republican Party, and always criticizing it for the best if I possibly could. But I peeked in and heard Obama on this show comment on Benghazi and a couple things. I'm sure you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
And I've got to run this by when we get back, but it's a good one. So stay right there and don't go away, folks. We'll be right back.
It's the PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. The one and only Fred Dryer. Email Fred incoming at crni.net. Check out his Facebook page, facebook.com/The Real Fred Dryer. Try Fry Vineyards, the Mendocino County organic wine with no sulfites added from America's pioneering organic winery. Fry Wine, the first maker of certified biodynamic wines in the United States. At Fry Wines, our emphasis is on producing organic wine of the highest quality while caring for our planet and palate alike. check out our website at frywine.com and join the Fry Vineyards Wine Club. You'll receive 20% off all orders and much more. Plus, you can check out our internet-only specials. And go to our crntalk.com website or the frywine.com website and check out Chef Piero's Recipe of the Week. Great biodynamic wines from Redwood Valley in Mendocino County, California. Fry Wines. Go to frywine.com. That's FREYWINE. Frywine.com. Check it out and enjoy great wines at your home tonight. PM show, weekend edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. The star of our show, Fred Dreyer.
Thank you, Michael Horn. We're cruising along at 71,089 feet, not inches above the surface of the Earth, and we're cruising nicely. And I got to tell you, the cockpit and
looking good here, isn't it?
It really looks great. It really does look great. We got all the stickers off the inside of the windows, and it's
Elva, our stewardess, did a good job cleaning it all up, don't you think?
Yeah. Is she on board?
No.
She's not on board.
No, not after that incident. But we won't go into that now.
No. Let's not go into that. Not exactly right now.
No.
So the incident we want to get into is, as I said before, I try to monitor what's going on for you folks out there and try to bring to you things that I think are of interest and conversations that should be dwelled upon, not just glazed over. And sometimes on the weekend shows, we see a show like this last Sunday, the Political Insider. I had on Pat Goodell, Doug Schoen, and John LeBoutier, and they were commenting on various things, and one was the arrogance coming from the White House on the subject of Benghazi, national security of Benghazi and what happened there. And we have a couple of sound bites here and some comments from these three people that I think are critical. And again, as I'm talking about this, the most important thing to think about here when this president is saying the things he's saying is to ask yourself, where is the Republican Party on this? Where is the Republican Party? Who? How many? Under what circumstances? And how fast is there a reply to what is coming out of the mainstream media and the White House? As I said, the real problem with what's happening in our efforts, in conservative efforts to not only take over the White House but take over the Congress so we can roll back government. Talk about a pie in the sky, huh? Is that we isolate and home in on the problem. The problem isn't with progressive liberals. It just isn't. It is now. I mean, while the guy has a gun on us, that's the problem. But the real problem is that we allowed the guy to have a gun to come in and put a gun and get a drop on us. That's the real problem. So right now what we want to do is we want to take the gun out of the criminal's hand, and then we want to go back and take a look at what is it about us that allows these things to happen. How does this happen? How do progressive liberals get elected, and what are they doing? What is the model? What is the machinery necessary to get this thing going? And then once you have isolated and figured out what that is and how that works, then ask yourself, what are we doing about it? What are conservative people doing about it? And the question has been answered time and time again. We're doing nothing about it. And so watching this show Sunday, all of this stuff started coming back. I started getting more heated. And when I do that, I go outside and I light my cigar and I walk around the backyard with my cigar and I start puffing away and I start chewing on that thing, and I start to think, what is it about living in a time when 2 and 2 is 5, and there isn't anybody to stand up from the back of the room even to scream out,
question it.
No, it's not. Yeah. It's 4.
Exactly.
And then run to the front of the room, push the guy out of the way, grab the chalk, grab the eraser, clean the board off, and prove the fact that it is, in fact, 2 and 2 is, in fact, 4. We don't have that person. We don't have that person that can identify 2 and 2 is 4. And that's the real problem, and that is what I think the main reason I do this show is to I think air a wonderment. I'm not angry. I'm not angry per se. It's just a wonderment that I can't be all alone. That I'm the only one seeing this. Not that I'm saying I am, because I know there's millions of people who are seeing it and screaming out, "Yeah, that's right. What are we doing about it? And how do we go about getting something and somebody to do about it?" And so I'm going to play Obama's first reply here. I'm going to set this up for you. It was Sunday on the Political Insider. And Obama's belief system is this: when he was asked about where are we on the Benghazi breakdown, and where are we on all of this stuff, the murder, the wholesale murder, and the collective attack on our embassy and our people there. And he says there are more important concerns having to do with national security than Benghazi. So that being the theme and the question, I want to play right now. Tommy, crank up number 1 here. Wait a minute. Just crank it up here. Get ready to go. And this is I believe, is this the question or as well as the answer, or is just his answer? It's a question. Okay, go ahead and play it. Anyway, this is Obama addressing the Benghazi issue.
There are a handful of issues, mostly around national security, where people have legitimate questions, where they're still concerned about whether or not we have all the information we need. Benghazi, by the way, is not a good example of that. That was largely driven by campaign stuff, because everything about that, we've had more testimony and more paper provided to Congress than ever before, and Congress is sort of running out of things to ask.
Really?
Well, really?
Really?
All those people are dead. They've already got stuff to ask.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
enough time has gone by. Yeah, enough time has gone by.
Yes,
You've asked your questions, and we don't really like them. We're not going to answer them anyway. And by the way, those 4 people, who needed them anyway?
Unbelievable.
Tom, can you re-rack it and play it again?
Yes.
Just play it again.
There are a handful of issues, mostly around national security, where people have legitimate questions, where they're still concerned about whether or not we have all the information we need. Benghazi, by the way, is not a good example.
No,
of that.
not at all.
Was largely driven by campaign stuff. Because
and the crazy guy, with the movie.
Testimony and more paper provided to Congress than ever before, and Congress is sort of running out of things to ask.
Wait a second now. This is the eloquent Barack Obama, our president, who says campaign stuff, it was driven by campaign stuff. Okay, yeah, so it was just campaign stuff. What kind of campaign stuff is he talking about? It's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard in my life.
I'm going to tell you something.
That makes me angry.
I mean,
you may not be angry.
You get a Republican president that would take that position when people are murdered.
They'd take George Bush apart. He'd be split in half.
Now, when we come back, we'll get into some more of this, but keep a noodle on this and ask yourself, where are the Republicans who should have come out 5 minutes after that show closed down?
Campaign stuff.
Somebody should have cut this guy off at the knees. Don't go away, folks. We'll be back.
It's the PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio with the one and only Fred Dreyer. Email Fred incoming at crni.net. Incoming at crni.net. His Facebook page, facebook.com/The Real Fred Dreyer.
Log on to FantasyGolfTour.com for weekly fantasy golf events with cash and free play options. Pick your team each week, switch players daily, trade players, watch the live scoring, and win cash. FantasyGolfTour.com pays hundreds of places each week, and everyone gets ultimate rewards just for playing. FantasyGolfTour.com offers a weekly event that follows the golf tour with sponsored purses from $20,000 to $100,000. This is unlike any other fantasy league out there. Don't just watch the game, become a part of the game and win big. What are you waiting for? Log on now to FantasyGolfTour.com. You pick the teams, you set the daily lineups, you make the trades. You can't win if you don't play. So log on now to FantasyGolfTour.com. That's FantasyGolfTour.com for weekly fantasy golf events with cash and free play options. Pick your team each week, switch players daily, trade players, watch the live scoring, and win cash. You can't win if you don't play. So log on now to FantasyGolfTour.com, taking fantasy golf to the next level.
And now Geico presents 30 Seconds with Maxwell the Pig.
Maxwell, you're on.
Cool. And so you just want me to read the script? You don't want me to do the we thing? Okay. Today, I'm going to talk about the new Geico mobile app and how you can manage your policy and get your ID card and customize it with your favorite Geico character. But I'm not yelling we or anything because they don't want me to, right?
Correct.
Okay. Just saying it's my thing.
Everything you love about Geico, now mobile. Download the new Geico app today.
Attention business owners, if your company is having trouble paying its bills, there are many ways your creditors can hurt you. They start by calling you at work, then at home. Then they call other family members that guaranteed payment. They can sue you, take your assets, freeze your bank accounts, and threaten your very way of life. If you don't handle these matters properly, you could lose everything. The good news is that you don't have to live like this anymore. Corporate Turnaround has helped thousands of small business owners reduce their debts and buy them the time they needed to pay their creditors. Rated A+ by the Better Business Bureau, Corporate Turnaround will immediately go to work handling your most difficult debts and keep your creditors from putting you out of business. The call is free and so is our consultation. That's right, we'll provide you with expert advice right now absolutely for free as part of this special radio promotion. Visit us now at profitfromdebt.com or call 1-800-505-3894. 1-800-505-3894. 1-800-505-3894.
Your copy of my new book, Hullabaloo, The Life and Misadventures of LA radio legend Dave Hull, that's me, is being offered for a special price now to cable TV viewers or to people who just want a good laugh. This 5-star edition can be yours for cable TV viewers or anyone else who just wants to save a couple of bucks. Get it now at either www.davehullabalooer.com or at amazon.com.
It's the PM Show Weekend Edition, CRN Digital Talk Radio. Once again, the star of our show, Fred Dreyer.
Thank you, Michael Horn. Welcome back to the show. Now, we're talking about Obama's comments Sunday on the Political Insider Show.
Can we hear that one more time? As the Benghazi and
we're gonna get into it just a second here.
Okay.
And it has to do with Obama's comment. Capricious, arbitrary, and cavalier response when someone asked about national security, and his Obama's outrageous, smug reply of disregarding the fact that 4 people were murdered, and now really chastising. What's in the subtext of his reply is, "Are you guys still on that? We've had enough paperwork and enough questions with no answers ad nauseum, and it's time to move on. And I'm tired of you people asking questions about national security as it related to Benghazi and the murder of 4 people." So I want to play it again, and we'll talk about it when the tape is over with. And we also have another take from that show. And it's a comment from Pat Cadell, Doug Schoen, and John Laboutier, and their responses to this. And remember, all of this is the subtext of where are the Republicans in response to this. So here it is, Obama's response to the question of, are there more important concerns having to do with national security than Benghazi? Here it is.
there are a handful of issues, mostly around national security, where people have legitimate questions, where they're still concerned about whether or not we have all the information we need. Benghazi, by the way, is not a good example of that. That was largely driven by campaign stuff because everything about that, we've had more testimony and more paper provided to Congress than ever before, and Congress is sort of running out of things to ask.
Well, I'm not.
I'm not either.
Can you imagine this? This is just unbelievable. This is on a national radio, television show on Sunday, and he says this, and there isn't. I haven't heard. I was waiting. It's 3 days, since this came out, and
nobody,
and not one Republican has come out and commented on it.
How about a
it's
press
simply
person?
Okay.
How about a press person?
There isn't anybody responsible, and I got it written down here. I was talking to Jennifer. I said I got to get Reince Priebus on the show, and I'm about done now about tolerating Republicans and this pathetic ruse they're perpetrating on conservative constitutional conservatives in this country. This is an absolute disgrace to have this shoved down our throats. He dismissed this just like he did America's concern about not wanting health care. They didn't want the government to manhandle health care, and he just said, I don't care what you think. And he just showed people. He had the House and the Senate, and he pushed this stuff through. He never asked one Republican what they thought about it. He pushed it through, and people said that's BS. So 2 years later, they take the House of Representatives away from him in the midterm, in 2010 midterm, and then he kind of dials it down a little bit. And now they win this election by about 300,000 or 400,000 votes. Because the base didn't show up, they decided, well, I don't think he's Mitt Romney. He belongs to a cult, and they don't understand what's happening. There's such a lag in understanding of Americans as to what the machinery is doing at this present time to disconnect you from your liberty and your freedoms. And this is the titular head who runs the party and tells the party, I don't care what anybody thinks, I'm going to get what I want, and we're going to have NBC, ABC, CBS, you name them, ad nauseum, a whole putative list of reprobates who call themselves a news agency when they're really the great grinding wheel of propaganda for the left. And this guy is pushing this stuff, where, and he doesn't care about anything. For a president to sit there and tell us that you had enough time to talk to me about Benghazi, we're moving on, is absolutely a disgusting outrage. And there's not one Republican. Forget me for a minute. There's not one Republican. Man, we'll get into it more. We still have more to go here, folks. Don't go away.
PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. Email Fred Dreyer, the email address incoming@crni.net. Again, that's incoming@crni.net. We do the show live every Wednesday at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. You hear it throughout the weekend. You can check out Fred's Facebook page, facebook.com/The Real Fred Dreyer.
What if I could show you a way to take as little as $5,000 and make $100, $1,000, or even more every day by working less than an hour a day with little or no risk? Would you be interested? Hi, I want to tell you about Tactic Trading, a school that teaches homemakers, students, entrepreneurs, executives, the unemployed, or the underemployed how to earn money every day using our proprietary charting tools, indicators which let you know when to buy and when to sell. I know when you hear the term day trader, it sounds risky, but we're so confident in our system that after you graduate, we will fund your trading account with up to $25,000. And here's the best part. When you trade, we'll let you keep up to 80% of whatever you make. Call 877-219-8778 to learn how you can participate in a free online webinar. That's 877-219-8778. Call today. Trading can involve substantial risk. Visit tactictrading.com/100 for complete disclosure.
Hi, I'm Joan London, and if you're worried about your parent or a loved one living alone like I was, and you want reliable senior care information, then call A Place for Mom, the nation's largest senior living referral service. You'll get free information on assisted living, Alzheimer's care, nursing homes, even important financial information.
They had obviously researched every place, not just given me names.
Really?
They found me a place for what she could afford, and it was magnificent.
We're now very confident that she's safe, and they just helped every step of the way, and I can't thank them enough.
So if you're struggling to find reliable senior living information, call A Place for Mom. This is a free service, and you can trust them to help you.
If you're struggling to find reliable senior living information for your mom or dad, then call or go online to get the free help you need during this turbulent time. Call now, 800-704-6182, 800-704-6182.
Hi, folks. This is Larry Minetti, and many of you out there suffer from skin problems. Well, I've been telling you for months how to solve that problem. It's called Herpanicin. It's the most unique and effective formula on the market. It cleans your skin from the inside out. It gets rid of all kinds of acne on your back, your neck, your face, so you can feel and you could look like a movie star. Herpanicin is a natural supplement. It was created by Dr. Wayne Diamond and his staff, and trust me, this really works. I've been on these supplements for over a year now and never had a problem. There is no reason in the world to wake up and be afraid to look in the mirror. You trust Larry. Just try it. Call 888-467-4200. 888-467-4200.
Attention business owners. Did you know that over 50% of people who search for a local business are doing it on their mobile device? If your business doesn't have a website designed for mobile viewing, then you're missing out on a huge amount of new customers. The good news is that ABI Hosting is now giving away a free mobile website with every annual business plan. That's right. Sign up with ABI today, and we'll include a mobile version of your website absolutely for free. This doesn't replace your current website. It's an additional version optimized for mobile viewing that you can also edit and further customize. It's loaded with high-tech features, including click-to-map and the popular click-to-call feature, which makes it even easier for mobile users to find you.
Is this item in stock?
I'd like to make a reservation.
To learn more, call now.
1-800-769-0887. That's 1-800-769-0887. Get your free mobile website now. Again, 1-800-769-0887. That's 1-800-769-0887.
Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. The star of our program, Mr. Fred Dreyer.
Thank you so much, Michael Horn. Your side of the fence over there looks pretty good.
You're looking good over there too.
It looks good over there. You're I can see your feet.
I've got the flight logs and everything right here. I'm doing okay. We're at 71089.
That's correct.
Flying high.
Yeah, we're not leaking, are we?
No, we're not
leaking
leakage.
Altitude.
No, but there's something's in our water tank. I think on top of the on top of the plane. I don't know what is in there in our drinking water.
Yeah, there's something seeping in. A woman's body was found in a hotel's water tank up on the roof there
in Los Angeles. Did you hear about that? Come on. Up in the water tank that they drink the water and they bathe in this water. There's a woman, dead woman. She's been missing for like 3 weeks.
Elisa Lamb, 21. God bless her.
Jeez.
Canadian woman. Last seen at the hotel January 31st. Police gave scant details about how the body might have ended up in the tank. We're not ruling out foul play. No. Really?
I'm telling you. That hotel is dead meat, I'll tell you that right now.
Well, it's one of the things that that we face each and every day, not unlike what Obama faces. A death is a death to him. Who cares?
Well, it's campaign stuff.
Yeah, it's all campaign.
That was all campaign stuff.
Now look, what
That
we're
whole
talking
thing.
about what Obama's comments were on the Benghazi national security situation that resulted in 4 Americans murdered.
Stop it, Fred. That was all campaign stuff.
Yeah, and
That's not a good example.
And by the way, has one Republican ever asked anybody, including the press, specifically the press, or the president's press secretary, that guy, Jay, what was his name is?
Yeah, Jay, whatever.
Yeah, who cares? Jay, and say, hey, Jay, have you seen the tape that started this riot? Could we see excerpts of it?
Yeah.
What's the name of the tape? You put the guy in jail here. They had him arrested on a parole violation. They stuck him in jail. Forgotten about him. That story's gone with the wind. And now you're saying that these 4 people were suddenly murdered by a crowd that got upset because they watched a real bad rendition of Islam being abused and
yeah, it was just it was based on that web the movie or whatever that's on the web.
Yeah,
Come
that
on,
hit
that was
feature
campaign.
film.
Fred, that's campaign stuff. That's according to our president.
Yeah. And
what are you
Hillary,
even talking
and
about
Hillary,
those dead people for?
Hank, the third baseman, Hank Clinton. She moved behind the plate because she didn't have to squat down to catch. Did you hear what I just said?
Yes, I heard what you said.
So anyway, here's what we are. We on the Sunday show, The Political Insider, with Pat Caddell, who I find a value in his opinions at time, although he's a Democratic pollster. Doug Schoen, also a Democratic pollster, and once you leave the confines of the clubhouse, you wind up being a pollster. So everybody's a pollster now. And John LeBoutier,
yes,
he's an ex-congressman, and so he's there on the panel, to add his 2 cents. And that's not going to mean anything here in these comments. But the point is that these guys were on the panel listening to this, and here's Pat Caddell, Doug, and John comments on what Obama had talked about. And on the security of what happened in Benghazi. Here it is.
What do you make of that?
In terms of his raising this way, we now know more questions than less have been raised. No one has spoken or seen the interviews by the FBI with the people who were evacuated. Can you imagine that? We have who were there on the ground. We have no information on that. The president, we find out, and this did come out of the hearings with Secretary Panetta, basically, and when I said the minute Secretary Clinton finished her testimony that I thought that was the story, is the president was, God knows where he was or what he was doing, except getting ready for his fundraiser. And we know that we still don't have the answer to the charge of the fact that they created this fiction, this lie of a narrative to protect the election.
What was the narrative?
And the narrative was, it was about, this was about the video. Then we put the guy in jail for
We've wiped out Al-Qaeda. We've
wiped
won
out
the war on terror.
And by the way, it was all because of this video. And they refused, and they kept lying when they knew. And Rice, Biden, when he was in his debate, and the president in his debate, absolutely dissembling in front of the American people. But the media will not call them on it. And I keep waiting for someone in the media, like a Bob Woodward, to do what they claim they are great at doing.
Well, I would tell you the issue.
The country needs to know there are 4 dead Americans, including an ambassador, for God's sakes.
There it is. There it is. We've got people outraged, and they asked the right question. And here's what it was. President Obama is clean on this. Vice President Biden, clean. Hillary Hank, clean on this. Rice, the person they shoved out
Oh, she got nailed
of the women's room.
Yeah.
They shoved her out, out of the buffet room, out there in front of the cameras to make the story up about. These people were killed suddenly by angry Muslims because an American filmmaker made a movie that dissed Islam, and so The subtext of it was, in the explanation is, they deserve to be killed. And nothing was done about it. It was a scam. And every time someone asks somebody about it, there's not one person in the press. Forget the Republican Party. This is where the left press, the leftist press media grinding wheel, and the Republican Party are brothers and sisters in not saying anything, but for different reasons. You know, the Republicans are frightened to death to have an idea, to even ask a question, to make a peek or a peep about anything that they find is of interest, and the press won't say it because they're covering up. And so you've got brotherhood between the Republicans and the great grinding wheel of leftist media, all covering up, and there isn't one Republican who has the guts as an individual, as a man, to stand up and demand this. Darrell Issa does as much as he can, but nobody goes to the press every day and demands a recounting on this. Folks, don't go away. We'll be right back.
It's the PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. That's Fred Dreyer. You can email him incoming@crni.net. That's incoming@crni.net. Check him out on Facebook, facebook.com/The Real Fred Dreyer.
I just sneaked into my kids' rooms and took temperatures while they're sleeping, thanks to my Exergen thermometer. All I did was swipe their foreheads for a few seconds. It didn't even wake them up. My sister, the nurse, told us about the Exergen Temporal Scanner Thermometer, and it's the best. Real value for the money and truly a lifesaver. Now I don't have to deal with ears or rears, if you know what I mean.
I'm Dr. Frank Pompey, founder of Exergen. Thousands of hospitals and clinics rely on temporal scanners. I'm confident you will too.
The Exergen Temporal Scanner. Pick one up at Costco and other fine retailers, or visit us at Exergen.com.
Whether you're restoring a classic car, building a hot rod, or just bringing your daily driver back to like-new condition, Steel Rubber Products is your choice for quality automotive rubber parts and weather stripping. As one of the world's award-winning custom car and hot rod builders, Bodie Stroud prefers to work directly with Steel Rubber Products on his award-winning project cars and show vehicles. In addition, Steel Rubber works with top builders like Bodie to confirm the fit and function of its parts, as well as develop new products. So for rubber products that fit like the original, last a lifetime, and look like they should, you can't get a better product anywhere. If your dream ride sounds like this, contact Steel Rubber Products and enjoy a ride that sounds like this. Steel Rubber Products, a difference you can hear and quality you can see. Visit us on the web at www.steelrubber.com or call us at 800-447-0849. And remember, if you want the best, you want Steel Rubber Products.
Monday. Texas is being overrun by some of the baddest cars to ever hit the road. But they'll have to go through these two first.
Fired up! Whoa!
Richard and Aaron are back for an all-new season of
Fast and Loud. Fast and Loud.
Restoring the cars you know and love.
Shelby. 59 Apache Short Bed. 32 Ford.
And having a damn good time doing it. Fast and Loud. New season premieres Monday at 9 on Discovery.
PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. The star of our program, the one and only Mr. Fred Dreyer.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
It's Mr. Fred Dreyer.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Okay, we were talking about Obama and his comments on the Political Insiders Fox's Sunday show, and if you missed it, you can check our show on our website and get a replay of it, and it's pretty.
It's archived. We're archived. It's crntalk.com.
Yeah, crntalk.com, and it's pretty profound, you know. And I don't know where we're headed in terms of a Republican Party. I know where I'm headed as an individual.
Where?
As a conservative individual, I'm going to fight for what I believe should be talked about, and I'm going to fight for individual freedom and liberty, and try to smack people around with facts, and try to get people to pay attention to what's at stake here. We had, I keep thinking that, as bad a candidate as Mitt Romney was, and as bad as a candidate as he was in terms of his preparation and the people responsible for prepping him, for setting the narrative, and for I would like to be in the Republican Party, and I would like to be the one that talks to the candidates, all of them, and saying, if this Republican Party supports you financially in every way, shape, or form, if we put the machinery, what little tiny machinery we have, behind you to run for national office,
right?
I want you to tell us what you believe in. See, what's really interesting, here's where the rubber meets the road. All you have to do, I know if Ronald Reagan were running against Obama, I know somewhere down the road, probably right up front, he would define his opponent. And that's what you do in a debate.
You must define your opponent.
You define your opponent immediately. And you just simply say to him, I'd like you, Mr. President, to tell the American people what form of government you want to supply, what you want to give the American people for what form of government. You said that you don't like the Constitution because it is a one-way document.
Right.
It is a unilateral document that it favors the people against government, and it doesn't allow or doesn't state what the government can do. Explain that. You said you don't like the Founding Fathers. You said this is a racist country. You want to be fair. Explain to us what you think fair is. And go right down the road of everything he said. Tell him exactly what it is that you want for a debate partner, and right off the bat, just put him in a hole. And nobody does that. Romney was not prepared. This guy was so easily beaten that it had people delirious. It cost Dick what's his face at Fox his job, because he said that Romney was going to live, Dick Morris, was going to win in a landslide. And he says, and so he was so far off, they just said, no, you have no credibility. And he doesn't have any credibility. And so you're out. So
you're out.
They fired him. And they should fire everybody at Fox and not talk to Karl Rove ever again. They should not talk to that guy, the architect. I make a joke of it. I hate to say it, but I make a joke of it. He's the architect of the destruction of conservative politics in America, pure and simple. He started off with that guy coming out of Texas, trying to sanitize George W. Bush, and we wind up getting a terrible candidate who doesn't stand for anything, and. He can't articulate the things he believes in, and I don't know what the heck he's thinking when he decides to tell people he's going to. He cares so much. Compassionate conservatism. That's the one thing that I'd ask Karl Rove when I get him on the show. If he comes on this show, I'm going to say, Mr. Rove, you're famous for coming up with compassionate conservatism. Tell the people what compassionate conservatism is, and isn't it really, really left of center politics? You see, no news person will ever ask him those questions,
no.
And they've never done it. And that's why I think that the Sean Hannitys, the great job that they do of getting ratings, of being conservative, but yet they say they're conservative, but they never ask the questions that a conservative would ask. That's my big complaint. They never ask it. Okay, I know Mark Levin wrote a great book. I read all of his books. I know he wrote a book. Men in Black. I know he read. I read all those books. I understand what he believes in, and he doesn't have a problem articulating all of those things. But where is the heart and soul of the Republican Party? And I keep hearing now it's in the third party. It's pushing. The Democrats want to say, well, the Republicans have a big problem now. They're out of touch with the American people because they got beat by all the blacks and the browns voted Democratic. So now they've got to go to a third party. No, you don't. You got to go back across the center line to the right of center. That's where the heart and soul of America is. We'll continue, folks, and we'll push through this this clump of mayhem. And when we come back, our last segment, and we'll wrap it up for you. Thanks.
It's the PM Show Weekend Edition on CRN Digital Talk Radio. That's our host, Fred Dreyer. He's available for you. Email incoming@crni.net. Incoming@crni.net. We do the show live Wednesdays, 4 o'clock Pacific, 7 Eastern. And then, of course, the replays on the weekend. You can check them out on Facebook, facebook.com/The Real Fred Dreyer.
Hi, I'm Dr. Bob Marshall, PhD. If you've ever had questions about your health, listen to Healthline Live now online at qnlabs.com every Monday through Saturday. I'll take your nutrition questions live during show hours and guide you the best I can on your path to great health. The key to great health is nutrition, and unfortunately, our food sources are not even close to what they used to be. Go to qnlabs.com and join me to learn about quantum nutrition. Ask your questions and get real answers. I'll give you the truth so you're empowered to make excellent nutrition and lifestyle choices. Remember, each day's show streams 24 hours until the next show, so you can listen at your convenience, from anywhere, anytime. If you miss a show, you can still find it archived on the website. So take advantage of this great opportunity to educate yourself and your family. That's Healthline Live every Monday through Saturday on qnlabs.com.
The Pikes Peak region welcomes you back to the beauty of the Purple Mountain Majesty, to the adventure of the great outdoors, to world-class shops, restaurants, and hotels, to our rich history and heritage, to the events, attractions, and culture that make memories for a lifetime. Colorado Springs and the Pikes Peak region, welcome back. For more information, www.visitcos.com.
Have you heard? Proactiv is better than ever. Stay tuned for a 1,000,000 bottle giveaway. Do you have troubled skin, acne? Well, we have great news. With Proactiv, your acne can heal, and you can prevent new breakouts from happening. Be one of the first to try it by giving us a call at 1-800-752-4996. Because we're going to let 1,000,000 people try Proactiv risk-free and also receive our legendary refining mask and green tea moisturizer free if you call right now. You heard it. Be one of the first to try better than ever Proactiv solution. You'll receive a 60-day risk-free trial, plus a free refining mask and green tea moisturizer. Call 1-800-752-4996. This is our best radio offer. Get your risk-free 60-day trial of Proactiv plus 2 free extras. Go to getproactiv.com or call 1-800-752-4996. That's 1-800-752-4996.
Geico presents a thank you letter from your motorcycle.
Hey there, buddy. I just wanted to say thanks. Ever since you saved money on your motorcycle insurance with Geico, we've been riding a lot more, which means I've been able to really exercise these pipes of mine. Just listen to them. Sorry about that. Oh, yeah.
Geico could help you save on your motorcycle insurance, and that should make you and your bike very happy.
PM Show Weekend Edition, CRN Digital Talk Radio, the star of our show, Fred Dreyer.
Thank you so much, Michael Horn. The subject here in Los Angeles is...
along with that woman that was floating in the tank at the
God bless her. You know, she's,
Cecil Hotel Cecil.
Missing since the 31st of January.
31st of January, she's been missing like 3 weeks. They find her in the water tank on top of this 33-story building or whatever it is.
Cecil Hotel.
And the people are drinking that water.
And
the people are bathing in it.
Yeah,
and she's floating around in the tank at the top of the building.
Yep.
Oh,
I don't know. And they say that they think there may be foul play.
Do you think so?
No, she jumped in there and then closed the lid on it.
Yes, that's what she did, yeah.
So Dwight Howard, the situation here is Howard's hurt. He's playing like 75%, and he doesn't have the greatest attitude. And he doesn't like Kobe, and Kobe doesn't care about that. And so the point here's my point. The Lakers came out today and said that they are going to keep him. They're not going to trade him. They think he's the franchise player for the future, and so forth and so on. And here's my question. Every time they ask him, well, "Do you want to be here?" He says, "Well, let's just go one year at a time." And
1 year at a time.
Yeah. So anyway, here's my point. It's apparent, because common sense dictates, it's apparent the Lakers know that Dwight wants to stay here. Otherwise, if he has told them,
"Get rid of me,"
I don't think I'm going to be here, then they're dumping him. If you don't know one way or another right now, and you don't trade him, you're really hurting the franchise. They could put him with another team and get a forward, a number 4, and a number 5 center.
Right.
He get somebody out of this guy. He get Brook Lopez and a good power forward perhaps. He get younger and faster and cheaper. But if the Lakers don't sign this guy and he doesn't want to come be here, this is a disaster. This will crush this franchise, because they don't have anything on the burner going forward. And here it is above the fold here on Wednesday's February 20th, LA Sports page. Jerry.
Hey, everybody thought this was going to be the big deal for the Lakers. This was going to be the super team, and they're not even going to make the playoffs. And then now they've lost their founder here, Dr. Jerry Buss.
Yeah, they lost Jerry, who was a great guy. Did you know Jerry?
Yes.
Yeah, he was a beaut.
Great man.
He was a great guy.
One of a kind, did so much for, a lot of people say that he went through the divorce and all that stuff. He was a great family man with his kids.
Terrific.
Great with his kids. This guy was great, and he was great with the players and great with the fans and great with everyday people.
Cannot find anybody to say
salt of the earth.
A bad word about Jerry. I've had several conversations with him one-on-one over the years about just a lot of things, and he was just as pleasant as you could possibly imagine, and competent, and had a killer instinct, buddy, believe me, in business and with that team. And he knew what to do. He knew how to pull the trigger. And anybody that lives their life like that, it's not how long you live, it's how well you live, and what your philosophy is to go forward in life. And he had a beautiful philosophy. Ladies and gentlemen, it doesn't seem possible. We got to do 2 hours now from now on.
You think you want to start?
I think we might start doing 2 hours. We'll give it. We'll talk about it. Kick it around a little bit. But we had a very fast 1 hour with you today. Covered a couple of little topics here, and we're really always thankful that you would tune in to be with us, and we're just very, very appreciative of that. And we're going to come back and catch you the next time around. So have a great rest of the day and a great weekend.
You can email Fred Dryer, incoming at crni.net. That's incoming at crni.net. Check him out on Facebook. Fred Dryer. It's actually facebook.com/The Real Fred Dryer. Don't forget, we do the show live on Wednesdays at 4 Pacific, 7 Eastern. Hear it throughout the weekend. Check everything out at our website, crntalk.com.
Are you tired of hearing your favorite talk radio show sound like this? What if you could hear your favorite shows in crystal clear, high-definition digital sound? Well, with CRN Digital Talk Radio's 6 channels of high-definition radio, you can now hear all of your favorite hosts like you've never heard them before in CRN HD. The difference is amazing. Catch your favorite political hosts like Dennis Prager, Tom Hartman, Barry Farber, and so many more. Entertainment and lifestyle programming like The Robert Conrad Show, The What's Cooking Show, and The What's Cooking on Wine Show, all in true CRN HD audio. Sports, business, travel, food, wine, politics, there is something for everyone, and it's all available in CRN High Definition Sound. Log on to www.crntalk for listings and information on all your favorite shows. That's www.crntalk.com.
The radio channels. The radio channels. CRN.
With SRN News, I'm Keith Peters in Washington. Attorney General Eric Holder says steps must be taken to protect U.S. interests from cyber hacking and other means of theft of ideas.
By corrupting insiders, by hiring hackers, and engaging in other unscrupulous and illegal activities, these entities can inflict devastating harm on individual creators, startups, as well as on major companies.
The moves follow recent allegations that a secret Chinese military unit in Shanghai has carried out cyber attacks against more than 140 U.S. companies. Also at SRNnews.com, the Obama administration is quietly considering urging the Supreme Court to overturn California's Proposition 8, the voter-passed initiative that enshrined marriage in the state as solely between one man and one woman. The administration has until February 28th to intervene by filing a friend of the court brief. 800,000 civilian workers of the Defense Department could begin to be furloughed on March 1st if Congress and President Obama don't reach an agreement on a budget. Nearly all 800,000 workers would lose 1 day of work per week for 22 weeks starting in late April if sequestration kicks in. Acting Under Secretary of Defense Jessica Wright says the furloughs would hurt local communities all across the country.
This is not a Beltway phenomenon. More than 80% of our civilians work outside of the D.C. metro area. They live and work in every state of the union.
Defense Secretary Leon Panetta says the Obama administration is still working with Congress to avoid these automatic budget cuts. Egypt's powerful military is showing signs of growing impatience with the country's Islamist leaders, indirectly criticizing their policies and issuing thinly veiled threats that it might seize power again. The tensions raising the specter of another military intervention much like the one in 2011 when generals replaced longtime leader Hosni Mubarak after they sided with anti-regime protesters in their 18-day popular uprising. This is SRN News.
And now Geico presents 30 Seconds with Maxwell the Pig.
Maxwell, you're on.
Cool. And so you just want me to read the script? You don't want me to do the we thing? Okay. Today, I'm going to talk about the new Geico mobile app and how you can manage your policy and get your ID card and customize it with your favorite Geico character. But I'm not yelling we or anything because they don't want me to, right?
Correct.
Okay, just saying it's my thing.
Everything you love about Geico, now mobile. Download the new Geico app today.
Are any of these symptoms familiar? Weight gain, hot flashes, rapid heartbeat, night sweats? How about fatigue, nausea, low libido, and fat storage? If you're a woman over 40 experiencing any of these symptoms, you probably have hormonal imbalance. Amberen restores hormonal balance in women over 40, so the extra pounds fall away and the other symptoms simply disappear. To receive a complimentary risk-free trial with a free 30-day supply, just be one of the first callers right now at 1-800-424-8740. That's 1-800-424-8740.
Former House Speaker Newt Gingrich told CBS's This Morning the Democrats have done a better job than Republicans in adapting to the changing face of America.
This is a country which is in many ways younger, more Latino, more Asian American, more African American than Republican strategists are capable of dealing with.
Gingrich, who ran unsuccessfully for the GOP presidential nomination last year, says poor strategy and questionable consulting last year cost the Republicans 9 U.S. Senate seats that, quote, we should have won, unquote. Investigators have found no signs of illegal drug use by a California gunman who shot 3 people to death in an unexplained rampage. No drugs were found in the home that 20-year-old Ali Sayed shared with his parents, and it doesn't appear that he was using any illegal substances. Authorities say Sayed killed a 20-year-old woman in the home early yesterday and then killed 2 more people before committing suicide. This is SRN News. Jesse Jackson Jr. has pleaded guilty to misusing $750,000 in campaign funds.
One attorney calls it the largest case involving the personal misuse of campaign funds he can remember. The former Illinois congressman faces up to 5 years in prison. His wife, Sandy, 3 years as part of separate plea deals worked out with prosecutors. Jackson spent 17 years in the House before resigning last November. His wife was a Chicago alderman before stepping down last month.
That's SRN News congressional correspondent Wally Hines reporting. The Boeing Corporation has developed a plan that it intends to propose to federal regulators to temporarily fix problems with its 787 Dreamliner jetliner batteries that have kept the planes on the ground for more than a month. They're expected to present the plan to the Federal Aviation Administration on Friday. More details at srnnews.com. I'm Keith Peters in Washington.
Do you own a car you no longer want and you don't have the time or energy to sell it? Donate your car to Heritage for the Blind. Your donation is tax deductible, and your car will be towed away for free. Call 800-785-9618. Heritage for the Blind accepts cars, trucks, vans, and boats. It doesn't matter if your vehicle runs or not. Call now. Your donation will help those in need. Heritage for the Blind is a non-profit organization that helps the visually impaired live fuller lives. Call now to donate your car. And as a special thank you, you'll receive a free 3-day vacation voucher to over 50 locations. Call Heritage for the Blind right now. Call 800-785-9618. Donating is easy. It's tax deductible, and your vehicle is towed away for free. Plus, you'll get a free vacation voucher by donating. Call 800-785-9618. That's 1-800-785-9618.
Hi, this is Joe Mantegna. Every time my Uncle Willie tells me about his service in Patton's Third Army in World War II, I'm reminded of what we owe the U.S. Army. 14 generations of American soldiers who have courageously defended our nation. Their stories represent the best of America and should never be forgotten. Join me to help build the National Museum of the United States Army, a long overdue tribute to all American soldiers. To learn more, visit armyhistory.org.
We mean everything that we say in this next hour, but I will not deny that one of our cardinal purposes is to have a little fun with the news on sequestration ease. I'm Barry Farber. On our newsmaker line, the enfabled Umberto Fontova. The fact that he's my favorite writer is important to me and those who care about me and my family. The important thing is he is the ringing, loud, drumming, effective, armor-piercing voice of free Cuba. I cannot give up on Cuba as long as Umberto Fontova continues to write the way he is writing right now. His 2 books on Cuba so far, A Little Brother, is, if not with us already, then very much on the way. The two books that turned him into my favorite writer are Fidel, Hollywood's Favorite Tyrant, and Exposing the Real Che Guevara and the Useful Idiots Who Idolize Him. Now then, if you've ever had reverence, if you like that expression, waving a red flag at a bull, you better say it, celebrate it, kiss it goodbye, have a cocktail party for it, make a solemn speech praising it for all the clarification it did over the years. That expression is gone. It has been trumped by real life, thanks to Umberto Fontova's writing skills. Once upon a time, can you imagine now, instead of waving a red flag at a bull,